Did y'all know that the woman who wrote this movie also wrote the screenplay to The Secret Life of Bees and everyone's favorite black horror love story, Love and Basketball? What's up, chicken butts, and happy day of the week. Since I've had a lot of free time on my hands recently, I've been getting more into watching movies, which is funny because I've never really been a movie person unless I was seeing it in theaters. So a lot of the movies people have seen, I've never seen them. But I've been watching movie reviews for a long time. Shout out to Kenny JD and her Bad Movies in a Beat playlist. That was she's really like one of the biggest people that really inspired me to start doing this, because it's something about the way she blends telling the story with, like, if you've seen a video from Kenny before, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't before, go watch her. But I love watching bad movies myself personally. I love a bad Tubi movie. I love a bad movie where you can just sit there with a snack and cackle and be like, "Girl, how did you act like that?" If you know, you know. But I love watching bad movies myself, so I decided I wanted to share all my ramblings and all my thoughts with you guys. You guys, my carrots and bonnet gang. Doesn't this look so weird? Don't my hands look big? The movie that is the center of this video, I actually saw this movie before when I was 15. It came out that long ago. But back then, I was obsessed with mindless behavior. So just put yourself in my shoes when we start getting into the meat and potatoes and everything. But I also saw this movie in theaters with my stepdad. So when we're going through the details in this movie, just keep that in mind, okay? I want you to keep that back here. The movie that we're reviewing today is Beyond. It's called Beyond the Lights. I don't know if you guys have seen it before, but Beyond the Lights is a 2014 romance slash musical directed by Gina Prince Bythewood, and it's centered around Nomi, a rising star who is struggling with fame and the stresses from her overbearing momager, all of which pushes her over the edge. Literally. The story opens with some British news with Noni's mom taking her into a beauty salon that's about to close. So we already know that the main character, she is British, tea and crumpets. On the way there, Noni is practicing for a children's talent show and she's singing Blackbird by Nina Simone. You know, we hear her voice. So it gives us an idea that, yeah, she can really sing for real. Like, this is not for play. This is for real. But I like this scene because even though, it's established that Noni is biracial, she's half black, half white, we see that her mom actually cares about her hair, and they don't even know when they get to the beauty salon to beautician, she doesn't even straighten her hair, which is something that's so common in movies and television. I like it's incredibly common, and it makes it seem like natural hair is something that's like completely unmanageable or undesirable. So I appreciate the fact that they didn't straighten her hair. At the talent show, Noni wins second place. She sung Blackbird. She sung Blackbird as her song. But she wins second place, and some girl dressed like a chicken with a hula hoop wins third place, while a girl who did like a little cutesy tap routine wins first. Her mom is visibly upset, and she literally storms out in front of everyone before the ceremony is even done. Literally. But outside, she makes Noni break her trophy, saying, "Do you want to be a runner up or do you want to be a winner?" Which is crazy to me because it was literally a children's talent show, so it wasn't that deep. It wasn't that deep. But Noni, so because she did that, Noni doesn't even get to enjoy the fact that she achieved something. But to be honest, this really just sets the scene for the relationship between Noni and her mom, who later becomes her manager further down the line. The next scene opens with this loud ass music video, all these cameras flashing, and apparently MGK is in this movie. I totally forgot about all that. It was like, oh, jump scare when I seen him. Quite literally forgot about all of that. But the whole scene because they're recording a music video, so the whole scene took me out because not only is it giving like Rude Boy, Rihanna tease, the lyrics are ass. They're ass. I won't lie. I wrote the lyrics down. It says, "He say I'm a masterpiece. Call me masterpiece, 'cause there ain't no limits when I make that body say oh oh oh." I don't know who writing that, but and to be honest, it's really giving pop my butt, pop my butt.
And I want you to read these lyrics to Dorothy Dandridge. Go ahead, read those to her.
Oh, man, it would be embarrassing.
Read them to her.
Pop my butt, pop my butt. Pop my butt, pop my butt.
Do you know what pop my butt meant to Harriet Tubman? Do you know what that meant? It meant a whip.
Somehow Noni and MGK, his name in this movie is Kid Culprit. They won a Billboard award for that song. I don't know how, but judging from the stuff that's like popular today and trends in music today, it's not really that far-fetched when you think about it, but the song is ass. So apparently Noni and MGK, I'm not calling him Kid Culprit because who's gonna remember that? They're also in a relationship. I don't, it's like real PR-ish. I don't know. But throughout the scene, you can tell that Noni, she doesn't really like the over sexualization of her image, from the way like she's dressed half naked until the way like she hesitates to sign the revealing magazine cover of her and MGK for a fan. Now we meet police officer guy. Mr. Officer is played by Nate Parker, who hasn't been in anything since 2016 after his directorial debut of Birth of a Nation was overshadowed by allegations of a 1999 sexual assault. So we haven't heard anything from him since. And quite frankly, I don't care. He's stationed outside of Noni's hotel room, who instructed him not to let anyone in. However, he has to go inside when he hears some commotion from inside the room and finds Noni, trigger warning, contemplating jumping off the balcony. Mr. Officer steps in and talks her down from the ledge. And I mean, I know this scene is supposed to be like emotional. It's supposed to be like, ooh, it's supposed to give you like a scare because we're just that early into the movie. But all I could really think was they must have gave him the additional training that they don't be giving all the other police officers. He asks her to look at him and she doesn't, and even when she does, she says to him, you still can't see me. You still can't see me. And she prepares to jump, but Mr. Officer grabs her in time before she can slip, but she's still dangling over the edge of the balcony. At this moment, he tells her, I see you. He's like, I see you. I see you. And which makes her decide that she wants to live. I mean, hey, she decides that she wants to live. And he pulls her over the balcony. This scene, like, I thought it would have been nice on its own, but they share this kind of longing, like, OMG, you really can't see me. I see you. You see me. We both using our eyes to communicate feelings to each other. They share that kind of type of look where it's like, you know, they're setting these two up to be romantic interests later. The whatever. It's here I realized that I couldn't be a pop star, because what do you mean she just tried to kick the bucket and they're still trying to make her get ready to perform? Are we all just gonna breeze over the fact that she just tried to go kersplat on the ground? I'm confused. Noni refuses to do it, and since she refuses, they decide to do a press conference about how Mr. Officer saved her, which confused me because there wasn't anybody outside when this was happening. The street was bare. There was no sounds of like sirens or anything, so they're attracting unnecessary attention to me, but who cares? Danny Glover is also in this movie, and he's legendary black actor. You know who that is. He's been in stuff since before I probably was even a thought. But in this movie, he plays another cop. He's talking to, and when we first meet him, he's talking to Mr. Officer on the side, telling him like, yeah, play a role and stick to the story that she just had too much to drink and she slipped. And he also reveals that Noni's momager wrote a $10,000 check for the LAPD officer fund. So he's really like, hey, shut the fuck up. Don't ruin this for me. At the press conference, one of the reporters is a detective from Mystery Incorporated because he's asking the important questions like, how do you slip over 4-inch railing? It was crickets. It's crickets when he asked that. But him being nosy makes all the other reporters start to question what really happened. And I know that this wouldn't have happened if they didn't do a press conference. Everybody wants to know what happened, and Mr. Officer, he plays his role so well to the point that when he has a private moment with Noni afterwards, she asks him what he saw, and he says nothing. But Noni, she seemed kind of disappointed with that response from him, though. Back at the hotel, Noni's mom asks her what happened because she says Noni doesn't even drink. And Noni tells her that nothing happened, which Noni's mom loves to hear because in response to that, she basically tells her she doesn't have shit to cry about because you're beautiful and you can sing, which is very typical. She makes her promise that another accident like this won't happen again, which basically means I'm making too much money off of you to be out here trying to kill my investment. So I don't know what you got going on, but you got to fix that. Next, TMZ finds out where Mr. Officer lives, and the nosy ass reporter from earlier ambushes him outside his home to offer him $50,000 for a tell-all interview about what really happened. And this made me do some research because $50,000, that's a lot of money. And I decided to go and research how much police officers in LA can make. Did y'all know that after you graduate the academy, LAPD officers start out making almost $100,000? Anyways, the reporter, he's basically dry begging, and Mr. Officer says no. And Mr. Officer, he starts to feel bad after seeing them reporting on Noni's little incident on the news. So he starts to feel bad for her. And MGK, he also tries to sext her after finding out that she attempted to off herself. Very romantic. Very, very romantic. Noni's album is getting pushed back because of her attempt, because in the words of Big Boss White Man, suicide ain't sexy. He also checks her momager, but she influences and persuades Big Boss White Man to keep her release date the same, saying that if she flops at her upcoming BET Awards performance, they can end her contract and drop her from the label. Now we're back with Mr. Officer, who now we find out that his name is Kaz. His name is Kaz Nichols, by the way. But now they're trying to make him a politician because I guess of his heroic heroic deeds and newfound popularity. And I mean, I guess if Trump can be president, then Kaz can be a politician too. At this point, all bets are off. What are you gonna do? We get some backstory about Kaz, like how his dad used to be a police captain, which honestly, it still has nothing to do with why he should be a politician, but whatever, I guess it fits. Kaz starts feeling pressured and he shows back up at Noni's hotel room. His cop buddy is stationed outside her room and Kaz asks if he can go in and see her, but his friend tells him to go stargaze from outside on the curb like all the other groupies. Which, I mean, who's to say she even wanted to see him in the first place? Anyways, she does come out to see his thirsty, curious behind anyway, so he apologized for being a big meanie after the press conference, and Noni apologizes for making him lie on her behalf. And they talk a little bit, they chat, and we find out that his real name is Kazam, as in Alakazam. Like the Pokemon, the magic word, if you get what I'm saying. Not only that, he says that his parents named him that because they thought it sounded African.
Hey, who said that? Who said that? Who said that? Who had been saying that? Who said that?
Okay. Noni and Kaz, they run off and have like an impromptu dinner date while they watch planes take off at the tarmac. He even gives her his jacket when she starts feeling cold. You know, little cute little sprinkle, romantic. They talk about what it's like to be a superstar and what it's like being a cop, and some semi-flirty, setting the scene for their later relationship, you know, kind of deal. What was interesting to me is that they mentioned that both careers have a crazy high and are better than any drug, which it makes me think, do those two careers have like some kind of overlap, some kind of overlay? If you know what I mean, be somebody out there write a thesis paper about that. Alakazam tells her, "Hey yo, I still think you should go talk to the lady," but Noni, she ain't stunting that. She starts tweaking out on him once she finds the business card from the reporter that offered him the $50,000 earlier in his cup holder, and accuses him of just wanting some extra tea for his story to make some quick cash. And Cass is just like, I haven't even done shit. And he takes her home, which is very smart. Very smart choice. Once they get home, all of a sudden she's not tweaking out anymore. Or maybe she is, because I blinked and she went from being pissed at him in the car to them being like, I know you're not gonna call that reporter. And she starts flirting with him, and she actually kisses him. For what reason? I don't know. What was the reason? I don't know. But it was crazy because you just thought this man was finna sell you out for the annual salary of an administrative assistant, and now y'all are making out. Okay, talking about some because I see you too. What, to me, I'm sitting here watching on my iPad like, what the hell am I seeing? Kaz liked it, so the flow of this scene was just very weird. I don't know. Back at Kaz's house, Danny Glover meets with him again, and they start talking about him and Noni. And Danny Glover is like, I get it, man. The victims look at us like we're heroes, but you can't get involved. And Kaz is like, well, no, it's different. And I'm like, how? You don't even know her like that. You saved her like a week ago, and after one kiss, he's already acting like some teenager. Like, you just met her. And this man right here who's talking about, no, she ain't like that, da 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 da. This is the man that's allowed to have a gun for 8+ hours a day, damn near 24/7. Danny tells him to think like a politician, and why are they still trying to turn him into a political figure? He did he even say that that was something that he wanted to do? And at this point, we're like 40 minutes in, and we still don't know shit about Cass. Anyways, they compare her to a church lady, and Danny says she ain't no first lady. So you know what that means. Ho. But now Kaz and Noni, they're spending all this time together like he's some kind of free bodyguard or like a Bratz boys doll. At the same time, people are eating Noni up on Twitter. They tear her ass up. Damn. Her nails are cute though. Her nails are cute. It's like a little banana pattern. They still tear her ass up though. Y'all know how black Twitter is. Y'all know how black Twitter is. As they spend time together, we basically find out that Noni's mom is essentially like pimping her out. Like she's having her do naked photo shoots and all other kinds of crazy stuff that she's not really feeling, but that's her manager. And Kaz, we find out that he wants to be a politician because he wants to be a brother that makes a difference. And to him, being a politician is just part of the plan. I don't know if many police officers aspire to be politicians, but I guess they make fun of Noni's ghostwriter, which thank God it wasn't really her writing, because them songs was ass. Ass, hot ass too. Not soft ass, hot ass. Kaz asks about her and MGK, and she tells him that it's basically a PR relationship, but he finds out that she hasn't broken up with him yet. And he's basically like, I ain't know you got down like that. Which Noni was like, I don't get down like that. But Kaz was like, hey man, you need to figure out what you got going on. So that was that. Kaz goes to a dinner for some political thing, I guess meeting with a bunch of other high profile political figures in the community, and he inadvertently compares himself to Dr. King, and someone at the table asks him who he feeling like. Rightfully so, but Kaz wasn't saying nothing crazy, just more of being a brother who wants to make a change. Meanwhile, Noni, she's at the club, but she ain't in it for real. She ain't, her heart ain't in it. She over here reminiscing about Kaz while Cynthia Erivo sings loudly in the background. Why are they playing Cynthia Erivo at the club? I don't know. But that's besides me. But next thing, we get a Big Sean cameo. Y'all heard he got ab etching? Allegedly. Allegedly, he got ab etching, but Big Sean says, "These are my real abs." I have no opinion on the matter. And it's crazy because Noni is in this scene going to break up with MGK, and he got all these niggas standing outside his dressing room. Who is he feeling like? But MGK don't really seem to give a fuck about the breakup though, so I guess it all worked out. That was that. Back with Cass, he's arresting a man who just beat the snot out of his wife. He's finally doing some more policeman duties. But Noni shows up at the station, and instead of Cass doing his job, he gets pressured by his other policeman friends to get in the limo with Noni, who tells him that she broke up with MGK and she only got eyes for him. They transition to I guess in before that, they were talking about like their personal fears and everything, and Kaz expressed that he's scared of flying on planes. But Noni, she tricks him into getting on a jet, and on a jet they're playing Beyonce. Somehow they were able to afford putting Drunken Love in this movie. I was shocked to hear it. I'm sure I was shocked to hear it back then, but they play a good little bit of Drunken Love too. Noni surprises calves. Calves. Noni surprises Kaz by getting him on a private jet, and she seduces him out of his anxiety about flying on a plane. If you know what I mean. They get nasty. But they have sex in the air. And remember in the beginning of the video when I told y'all that I saw this movie in theaters with my stepdad?
No!
Yeah. It was awkward. It was awkward. Very awkward. Noni and Kaz pop out at the BET Awards, and her mom is not fucking with it. She is not feeling him. Never. Hasn't been feeling him since the beginning. But her mom is trying to check Kaz, like, you know you're no good for her. You know that you're just a placeholder. You know you're not going to be here forever. And Kaz is like, you doing all of this, but she still need to go talk to somebody. She need to go talk to the lady. During Noni's performance with MGK, they're tussling a little over her coat that she was supposed to take off during the dance scene. And to me, I was just like, how the fuck did MGK... Who did MGK bribe? Who did he fight? Who did what? Who did he seduce to get on the stage at the BET Awards? I'm confused. Since Noni doesn't want to get half naked on stage no more, MGK is mad, and with his little hurt feelings says that she basically tried to kill herself because he broke up with her. The typical, I was gonna say typical nigga shit, but he ain't a nigga. He basically forces her jacket off, and he humiliates her on stage. But in retaliation, Kaz hops on stage and punches him in the face. Well deserved. Afterwards, Danny Glover, you know, his little mentor, tells him, hey, you tweaking. This girl got you tripping. Noni's mom has to play damage control, and while Noni and her mom are going back and forth, Noni's mom calls her a cliche, which I thought was ironic, because how is Noni cliche and you got Noni out here doing half-assed Rihanna cosplay? Once Noni gets home to herself, she literally does crash out. She's breaking glass and everything, and Kaz comes to her rescue. The two of them decide to do a getaway to Mexico, and they bought Kaz's dog that he let kiss him on the mouth earlier in the movie. No offense to dogs and pet owners, but I ain't letting no dog kiss me in the mouth. That's just some shit that you don't do. But they do get a nice place by the beach though. And I really think that after this, she really should be seeing a therapist. Not being on a vacation, but hey. And like, I know this moment was supposed to be deep, but Noni, she got like these really good, thick, like 2010 hair bundles. Like, and if you a girl that be wearing some extensions, you wear some weave, if y'all was doing the sewings back then, they ain't doing the bundles like that anymore. At this point, we're an hour in and we still have a lot more to go, but I still have no idea what else can go to shit. But we do get a little cute couples beach montage. It's really given when you and your man go on vacation and everything, you feel so free and like a breath of fresh air, even though y'all argue like 5 times on the way to the airport. I just know these scenes inspired the Wattpad girlies back then, me included. We get some more cute couple moments, and where they go to a little karaoke bar, and Kaz sings "Can You Stand the Rain?" They boo him though, because he sucked. And this scene is so cute until you remember that they probably still tearing Noni up on Black Twitter at the house, and right now they probably writing threads about her on Lipstick Alley if they weren't already. Things officially hit the fan when Noni takes the stage and she sings Blackbird, whooping Drama's ass through her singing. But apparently someone was recording her performance and they posted it on YouTube, which brings all the paparazzi, the fans, and everybody else to where they were staying. Noni's mom shows up and they have like a heart to heart, but it was really just a ploy to get Noni to come back to LA because the video got 400,000 views and impressed the label. Noni, still unable to think for herself, decides to go back to LA with her mom, telling Kaz that he was like a pause button for everything that she had going on, but that they can't put a pause on life forever. And if you've seen Insecure, it was kind of like that scene where Issa told Daniel that he was just an itch she needed to scratch. Oof. Kaz isn't going for this BS and he sees right through it, but Noni doesn't know any better. The two of them break up because why wouldn't they? Y'all barely know each other in the first place. Kaz, he even throws the bracelet that Noni got him at the little market into the ocean because his feelings were hurt. Oh. But they go back to their separate worlds, and now Kaz really, really wants to be a politician. Noni wants to put a song on her album, and they tell her shut the hell up and sing them Ghost Rin songs. Cool. Who you feel like? Surprisingly, Noni's mom was on her side in this moment, and she flexes her muscle, getting big bad white boss man fired. But she disappoints her daughter again by telling her that she was just doing that to get him fired and that the album was already printed. So her mom wasn't standing up for her for real. Noni and her mom get into it, and her mom justifies pimping her daughter out by saying, at least she's rich. And Noni's mom actually slaps her. Crazy. But now, if that was my mama. After this, Noni shows up at Kaz's house to tell him that he was right and to make amends. But Kaz, he not really going for that, and they don't end back up together. Rightfully so. Meanwhile, Kaz, in his next scene, he almost gets sent to the upper room by the husband of the lady from the domestic violence situation. Like, he tries to blow his head off. It's crazy. But luckily, he doesn't end up too hurt after like tussling around with him. But he still has to go to the hospital. Well, Noni, she decides to finally do something for herself. And she does an interview where she speaks her truth and takes control of the narrative surrounding what really happened that night. Kaz is watching this interview from the hospital waiting room, and he has a nice talk with Danny Glover about things, which makes him realize that he wants to make his own decisions and live in his own truth as well. Noni, she ends up getting to do this big festival performance in her hometown. It's made like out to be this big, huge spectacle kind of thing, and like she really got fans. She really got fans. But Kaz surprises her at the performance, and they're both so goo gaga over each other, and are like, I love you too, I love you. And Noni's eyes say, I love you too, Alakazam from the famous Japanese role-playing game Pokemon. Noni, she goes on stage and she finally gets to sing something that she wrote. Good. And even then, after all of the things that she's been through, the suicide, the constant barrage of paparazzi, people talking about her on social media, people making fun of her, like feeling like even reaching her breaking point, you know, getting into it with her mom, she still makes this last moment about her and this damn man. Like, he's standing there looking goofy as hell while she's singing, and then the credits roll. This movie is cute, but I feel like Noni and her troubles should have been the center focus of this movie. It feels like her problems almost got overshadowed by her relationship with Kaz. Like, I get it, he saved her life, but it seems like she only ends up deciding to live because he saw her instead of her seeing herself. And even when she decides to do something for herself at the end, she still brings him into a moment that's meant to be for her and all of her hard work. Kaz's story is underwhelming. Nobody cares about him wanting to be the next Marcus Garvey, to be honest. Noni was a complex character that I wish we would have gotten to understand more of her, because even her relationship with her mom, or just how she felt about stardom in general, because she's been through so much from the beginning of the movie with her attempt, and then, you know, fighting with her mom, struggles with her label, self-identity, and things like that. I feel like that would have made for a way better movie. But I feel like the story should have just been more about her and less about herself attaching her pain and part of self-worth onto her relationship with Kaz. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really want to try to get into another type of content outside of video games. Like, don't get me wrong, I love video games, but I want to do more. I want to show y'all that I'm also multifaceted and capable of more. Because I'm not, like, you know, even though I'm so beautiful and amazing and everything, you know, I still want to show y'all what I can do. But if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. I do plan on doing another movie review soon. There's a few Tubi movies that I've been looking into, and there's another movie that I've also seen before, but that I want to review because it has a lot. It relates to like things that are going on now in the world. But I appreciate y'all so much. If you have any suggestions for me, any movies, TV shows that you want me to react to, I am thinking about, because you know everybody does their yearly insecure watch. So I don't know if you guys would be interested in me reviewing like the seasons of Insecure, but I'll gladly do it. But yes, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And that's really it.